It's official, guys. The Scream Queen of Hollywood, aka Jamie Lee Curtis, said goodbye to the longest role of her life. It's the one that kickstarted her career, and the role that we didn't just grow up watching, but it made us fall in love with her as a whole. Yep, we're talking about the Halloween franchise. In this video, we're going to discuss how Jamie's story in the show ends and more. First of all, Jamie Lee Curtis got a unique Halloween Ends farewell. So in Halloween Ends, two iconic figures, Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, are back to finish what they started one last time. As you know, the character of Laurie Strode is played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and in Halloween Ends, she finally puts down roots with her granddaughter in the same town where she first encountered the serial killer. All's going well for her. She's working on her memoir, enjoying the peace and quiet. That is, until she realizes that history's repeating itself, and who else would it be but Laurie to save the day? Halloween Ends does a remarkable job of showing the audience how much Curtis's character has really grown throughout the films. Laurie matures from a scared babysitter to a damsel who's not in distress and can handle herself, thank you very much. Jamie portrayed Laurie Strode in a total of 7 films, and it's only fair to sit back and reflect on the goosebump-inducing legacy she's made in the horror movie slasher media circuit. It's been 44 years since the original Halloween arrived in movie theaters, and frankly speaking, we think it only feels like yesterday when the first movie rolled out. In an interview with Forbes, Curtis said that she feels exactly the same as she did when she was 19 and appeared in the first movie, and most importantly, that this franchise was her entire life, and that she's immensely grateful for her fans, stating, "I wouldn't have anything without them. Nothing." Coming up, here's what the Halloween Ends cast had to say about working with her. Actress Andi Matichak, who played Strode's granddaughter, Allison Nelson, said that initially the veteran actress took her by surprise because she was expecting Curtis to be a diva, but she was anything but an entitled diva, folks. Nope. Matichak added that it could have easily been the Jamie Lee Curtis show, but then continued saying that Jamie made sure that everybody felt heard and knew it was a collaborative experience. Whereas the character of fellow survivor Lindsay Wallace is played by Kyle Richards in the franchise. In fact, she's been starring next to Curtis ever since 1978. Kyle said that the hardest part of saying goodbye to her character and the franchise as a whole would be working with Jamie as these characters. She shared hopes of them working again in the future on a project, but did confess that it makes her sad knowing that Halloween Ends will be the last time Laurie and Lindsay will be on screen together. But don't worry, guys, the actress has a plan. She's manifesting at this very moment. We've got our fingers crossed that the universe hears you, Kyle, because we want to see you on the big screen with Jamie Lee as soon as possible. Even David Gordon Green, the writer-director of the franchise, said that the actress's charisma, relatability, and resourcefulness of the character, Laurie Strode, is what made the movie so special, and the reason that the franchise stayed alive throughout the decades, because Jamie Lee helped the audience see a small piece of themselves through the depiction of her iconic character. Up next, here's what Hollywood's very own Scream Queen thought of the final installment. In an interview with NPR, Jamie Lee Curtis described in detail what she believed was the hardest part of the franchise coming to an end. Spoiler alert, it's the fans. She said that the Halloween franchise's fans have given her quite literally everything in her life, starting from, of course, her career. The actress also added that she'll always love Laurie Strode and will forever be grateful for her fans. On a different note, Jamie Lee doesn't consider Halloween Ends as a way of saying goodbye to her iconic character, but rather as a thank you, because that role gave her a creative life, a wonderful career-changing platform to have as a young actor, and interestingly, an avenue through which she met her husband. How cute is that? Fate certainly works in funny ways. When the horror slasher genre's queen was asked if she was upset that the franchise was over, she gave a pretty insightful answer. She replied that every story needs to come to an end. Talk about spinning words into poetry. She added that the beauty of storytelling is that it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that, most surprising of all, Jamie Lee thinks that the end of the Halloween franchise doesn't mean the story's over. Oh no, rather it's actually the beginning of a brand new chapter of her life. Here's to new beginnings. Finally, here are the cast's parting thoughts on the franchise's message. The Halloween Ends cast and crew shared high hopes for the movie and shared different aspects of what they all wanted the audiences to take away after watching the final chapter of the Halloween franchise. Malek Akkad, the producer of all installments since 1995's Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, said that the audience should remember the thrills and chills, and suggested that the best way of watching these movies is with friends and a bag of popcorn. Actor James Jude Courtney, who's credited as The Shape in the series but is known by the fans as the guy behind the Michael Myers mask, shared that he wanted the fans in the audience to remember Jamie's journey throughout the franchise, because it's one film. Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, they're able to understand all the social issues the director, David Gordon Green, was able to explore folklore through Halloween kills, like mob mentality, loneliness, mental illnesses, etc. Well, he finished off his speech by saying that the main takeaway for the audience must be that people become more accepting and loving. We couldn't agree more. In a period of uncertainty and loneliness, it's important to know that there are people who you can rely on. Moving on, let's take a look at how much input Jamie Lee Curtis added into the show's ending. According to an interview conducted by The Collider, Jamie Lee Curtis revealed that her contribution to Halloween Ends was the last scene itself, or rather, its setting. She shared that the last scene was originally supposed to take place inside her house, but after an argument with David, crying, shouting, tears and all, the scene was rewritten and now takes place on the front porch of her house. Here's why it's such a big deal. The Halloween franchise's actress said it was extremely important to show kids on bikes a moment of peace, to symbolize that at the end of the day, innocence and peace triumph. And that, most important of all, that there's a chance for Laurie Strode to just be. That even though she's broken and damaged, and we're not gonna lie, will need a decent amount of therapy, at the end of the day, she'll be okay. And to put it simply, even if her input was only to switch the scene setting, the impact was definitely larger than life. By showing Strode on her house's front porch, Halloween Ends got to successfully uphold two key elements of the franchise: that evil changes shape and takes many forms, and that all the Laurie Strodes of the world can seize the day and win. Coming up, Halloween Ends is the most heavy movie in the entire franchise. If you've seen Halloween Ends, you'll know that it's actually quite different from the franchise's previous installments. This is because the film doesn't fit the typical spooky yet fun genre that the franchise had adopted. It takes on a different tone, one that's really sobering and depressing. How so? Well, following Michael's disappearance, the citizens of Haddonfield are super quick to point fingers, playing a game of "you're the monster," which in our opinion isn't exactly an effective coping mechanism, you know? As we said, Halloween Ends doesn't fit the fun Halloween-themed vibe of its previous installments. You can't exactly carve pumpkins while you're contemplating who the real monsters in a movie are, the murderer or the town citizens themselves. We're getting shivers just thinking about it. It's best we cut off pumpkin carving from our to-do lists. Finally, the end for Halloween Ends was changed thrice. Did you know the ending changed 3 times? Or were we the only ones in the dark? The director said he wanted the ending to be different from Halloween Kills, arguing that its bleak ending wouldn't have fit. He said that the endings that they thought of previously were either too bleak or not enough bleak, but the ending that they landed on ended up working the best. In Green's mind, this version is optimistic, hopeful, and it, all in all, was much more satisfactory, especially for the fans. That's a wrap for this video. Have you seen Halloween Ends yet? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.